Hello and welcome, beloved, to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you are moving into living life on your own terms, that you're moving into truly, living life full throttle, 100%. Many of us have been half asleep during these, during the last decades, whatever you want to call it. But truly, the awakening is here. We are in the best of times and we are in the worst of times. It all depends on your perspective, but those are stories for for other days. There's so much going on, with protests across the world over the George Floyd, false flag event. If many of you don't know that, that's really what it was. And regardless of whether it was a false flag or not, what I'm feeling is that it has definitely ignited something in a lot of people across the world, and it's kind of shone a light that cannot be spiritually ignored. And even if you don't see a lot of the true warriors, true fighters coming out and protesting and holding up placards, there are those. The spiritual army has been stirred up. The spirit of the ancestors has been stirred up. And so regardless of what the plan is, and that's what always happens, I don't want to get too much into this, but that's always what always happens when, when you have, when you play with spiritual energy and you try and cast some kind of spell out there, sometimes you can awaken something, you can awaken a sleeping giant, and I pray that's what we're seeing. But, unfortunately, there are also a lot of elements of this global protest movement that we're seeing that have been hijacked, in this deep state operation. They're trying to take Trump out, literally, but those are stories for other days. And now the police in Ghana actually arrested the Black Lives Matter. I wish we had our own phrase. I really wish we had our own phrase, especially when you realize where that came from, who's associated with it, et cetera, and how it really doesn't promote Africa in a wholesome manner. But now, so police in Ghana actually arrested Ernesto Yeboah, sorry. He was charged with failing to obtain a police permit for the protest that took place in Ghana on Saturday and for breaking the rules on public gatherings. So allegedly, and this is the same across Africa. I don't know if it's the same in Europe or the divided states. Please let me know in the comments. But even in Kenya, if you want to protest, you have to first go and tell the police, I'm going to protest. Then you have to sign with, I don't know, the city council, get all these permits. NEMA is like our national environmental, they deal with noise. I don't even know what it fully stands for. Before you can and even do any of this stuff. So this is crazy. Because how can you're protesting, but you're telling people you're protesting? It kind of defeats the purpose of protesting, which is why, the real G's, if you want to call them that, have really not stepped to the streets, because they're just like, it's just like a huge festival. And what they did is they put people inside, for so long, amped you up, got you, gave you cabin fever, and then broke you out, with these protests. Anyway, those are stories for other days. Just don't fall for the hype, fam. So about 60 people, more than 60 people actually showed up in the protests in Accra. It ended up being a visual, and they were not only, which is what we've seen across Africa, they were not only protesting what happened to George Floyd, but they were also speaking against, the police brutality in their own countries and across Africa, which is a serious, serious problem. But now what happened, is that, and they chanted, we are not free until we're all free. I absolutely agree with that. But at some point, a joint police and military team forced the crowd to disperse. So were they really 60 people? And then arrested Mr. Yeboah. And, when his fellow protesters demanded his release, police actually fired warning shots, which is against the Ghanaian constitution, because you're not allowed to, I don't know, according to the, you're not allowed to forcibly, you're not allowed to forcibly disperse protests that you've been told are going to happen, something like that. But he, and Mr. Yeboah, he actually leads the civil liberties pressure group called Economic Fighters League. His campaigning last year led to Ghana's parliament dropping plans to build a new parliament chamber. Remember when that was going to go for millions of dollars? So he's done a lot. I wonder how he got involved in the Black Lives Matter, but he's been arrested. But it shows you so much is happening. No one can control an idea whose time has come, and no one can control the idea. Fam, don't let them take the revolution away from you. No one can control an idea or fully be in ownership of an idea when millions of people get uplifted by it, like we're seeing with the protests around the world, planned or unplanned. Something has ignited in the global man, you know what I mean, and in the global black family, and life will really never be the same again. Tuko pamoja.
Here to stand for black lives. We are not free. So, those of us who are going to Ministries Police Station, we will find our way there. And those of you who are unable to join us, it is understood. But we are not going to allow for our constitutional rights to be taken away from us. We notified the police, you all saw it. We followed protocol. And so I'm standing here and I'm saying, it is your right to stand for what you believe in. It is your right to stand for black lives. And it is your right to reject anything that
you have a relation to this property?